This is your YouTube.
You just type it in.
Good morning, good morning, God bless. Good morning, God bless. Good morning, God bless.
You just passed it. Trying to set the vibe for y'all. Good morning, everybody. Gregory, Victor.
Oh, what's up, Unc? What's going on? Good morning. All right. Should be good here. Awesome. This is the Zoom.
Okay.
Cannot stand the iPad.
There we go.
Okay. All right, folks. We're trying to move some things around. Good morning. God bless. What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? What's up, IG? It's a new day ahead of us. Today is March. What is it? The 25th?
26th. Jesus, where are we? 26.
March 26th. It is a Wednesday, so that means we'll be talking about emotional health. That means we'll be trying to get better and level up in that area of our lives, as we are always trying to do that, right? We're always trying to level up here at the warm up, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. The goal is to get better just a little bit every day, right? 1% a day if we can. A lot of what we talk about here at the warm up is inspired by the book, right? The warm up, win the morning, win the day. You can get the book on Amazon. And the key here in the title is win the morning, win the day. Win the morning, win the day. Me and the wife here have been up since 5:30 a.m. today. We went to the gym today. I feel like we are winning the morning. I feel like we're winning the morning so far, so good. We probably could have got our podcast stuff set up a little earlier, but here we are. It's a good start to the day.
We were set up. We're just trying new things because you gotta try new things to win in life, right? So
you do gotta try new things to get out of your comfort zone. So today we're gonna talk about emotional health. That's actually, I'm not certain. I think I'm saying this off the top of my head, but I think trying on new things and getting out of your comfort zone is one of the tips in the book as it relates to emotional health. But Bianca is here with me. Maybe she'll join me more often. I think this is a cool little setup. What do you do, dear, to win the morning? Were you always a morning person? I know that we started going 5 a.m. together with yoga, meditation, things of that sort, but do you like it?
Yeah, I love the morning because, as you know, I go to bed early. I've always went to bed early. And I think that helps me with the morning, just going to bed early. Going to bed early. I've always been a morning person.
Why do you go to bed at 9 o'clock?
It feels good. Well, honestly.
Are you just tired?
No. A lot of times, no. I just lay down and kind of get myself there, just getting to a calm space, get to thinking about my to-do list for the next day. And I think that's what excites me when waking up, okay, I'm ready to conquer the day. I already have my list. I'm ready. I'm here. I have something to look forward to. I think a lot of times and I deal with this too, a lot of times when people don't like getting up in the morning, it's because they don't have much to look forward to. It's like, it might be like, oh, I gotta go to this job that I hate, or I gotta wake up and take the kids to school, and I really don't feel like dealing with these kids or their teachers or this, or I gotta do this. But I have really, although I wish I had an assistant, but I feel like I have really cool to-do lists. I look forward to managing my business. I look forward to, my contracts that I have with my partners. I look forward to exercising. I look forward to hanging out with you and bothering you all day.
So yes, you do. But so a part of it's funny to even think about it like this, but a part of going to sleep early is because you're excited for your next day, right? And you kind of you can't wait to get there, right? So it's like it's like Christmas, right? You know, if you go to sleep early, the sooner you get to wake up and open your gifts.
Yeah.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Me personally, I'm still a night owl. I still like to stay up a little late, but I get up. I do my 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., and I get going so that if I ever have a day or a situation which I'm not looking forward to it, right? Because there's work, because there are responsibilities, because there are tasks and errands and things that you have to do that you may not really be looking forward to. If you get up early enough, you'll have time to schedule in some things that you actually like to do for yourself. Maybe you spend some time during the morning doing those things for yourself, or you've already looked at your calendar and you got a good gist of what it is that you have to get done throughout the day, and you know when and where you can schedule things for yourself that you like to do, right? And so that makes winning the morning that much more important. And I guess in Bianca's case, that makes going to sleep that much more relevant since she's looking forward to her days. I mean, but that's what we want for everybody, to wake up and look forward to the day ahead of you. I think it's hard to look forward to the day if you are not in control of it to some degree.
Control and sleep are two things I want to talk about today too, because they have a lot to do with emotional health. So know that.
Control and sleep. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about those tips and how they can benefit emotional health. One of the things that we don't want to skip over is a normal morning routine for us, which is affirmations. We firmly believe in affirmations here at the Warm Up. We believe in positive self-talk. We believe in the power of speaking things into existence. And so there are a couple affirmations here in the book. Each chapter starts out with affirmations. When we talk about emotional health, I like to call a time with affirmations, I like to call that a mirror moment, right? Where you're spending some time with yourself in the mirror, looking at yourself, having an honest conversation with yourself, and honestly hyping yourself up, right, for the day, right? You like, today's gonna go exactly how I envisioned it, right? So you're hyping yourself up for the day. But as it relates to emotional health, here goes a good one that I want you to start with through your day. Repeat after me. It says, I know how to stay cool in stressful situations. I know how to stay cool in stressful situations, because it might happen, right?
It always happens.
It doesn't. If you're lucky, it doesn't always happen, but stressful situations almost always happen. And the goal is to stay cool in stressful situations. Not that you're not a little stressed out, not that emotionally, you may be being challenged a little bit, but if you can manage to stay a little cool in the midst of a stressful situation, I think that that will go a long way for helping you deal with your emotions and manage your emotions as you go throughout your day. Mm-hmm. What affirmations you got there?
I have two. So one that's in the book and one that isn't, and they kind of go along with each other. One that's in the book: I don't allow my fears to control how I feel. I don't allow my fears to control how I feel. I don't know if you can see it. Because our fears, they can take over. And then one that I like to tell myself, and this is more so for emotional health, because for a lot of other things in life, it just doesn't apply, but only some things. I am in control. And I say that only applies to some things because, as we know, a lot of things in life, we're not in control. And when you understand that, it helps with your emotional health. So the way people act you can't react and let your emotions get a hold of you because you're in control of your emotions. You're not in control of them. You're not in control of what the world throws at you. You're only in control of how you control your emotions towards those things and act towards those things. Don't let people control your emotions. They can only control themselves. The world can only control itself, but you can control yourself. I am in control. That helps me with my emotions when my emotions are running crazy and whack. And, sometimes you just want to go crazy on people, but.
I mean, what I always say is to don't let people knock you off your square.
Yes.
There are people who maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally, but there are people who are agitators in the world, right? Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're just, maybe they just want to mess with you, right? Maybe they just want to pick on you a bit. And so you have a lot of people who are agitators and, they don't mind. They don't mind trying to get under your skin. And it's your job to, again, remain cool in a stressful situation, remain in control of the situation. And in some cases, see that nonsense coming a mile away, right? So that you can dodge and weave and avoid things that are going to try to knock you off your square, right? Try to remain in control. That's a good affirmation. Even ask yourself as she gets ready for the next affirmation, even ask yourself as you are going throughout your day and you're involving yourself in certain activities or instances throughout your day, like just have a self-check. Like, am I in control right now? Am I going along to get along right now? Am I following great leadership right now? And this is a great place to be and a great time for me to sit down and listen. But be aware of what's going on in your life presently. Am I in control? And if I am I owning the situation the way I'm supposed to as someone who's in control? Am I stepping up? Am I showing up as my best self as someone who is in control of a situation? Now, if it's your opportunity to sit back and relax and you don't have to take control, that's cool too, right? In that case, know that you're not the one in control, right? Know that you can't be a backseat driver, right? I'm pretty bad at that sometimes, right? I want to tell people to turn left and turn right. When I'm not the one in control, right? I need to sit back and relax and let the captain.
Yeah.
So it's important to know when you're in control. And so just be mindful of that. The goal is in my opinion, the goal is to be in control as much as possible. But sometimes you have to let go.
I wanted to mention something. We recently went to, my guy has a podcast called The Shortcut Show, and it's storytelling. But the title of that show was You Don't Own Me.
Yeah,
that was that particular, the title of the show is The Shortcut Show. That particular episode session was You Don't Own Me. And it was Black women sharing their stories about how they overcame different challenges to understand who they were and how powerful they were, and to show the world you don't own me. But that title spoke a lot where, when I'm having mirror moments, sometimes you have to say, like, if you're not saying you, maybe they, right? As in the world altogether, but they don't own me. So no matter what they say, no matter what they throw, no matter what happens, no one owns me. So I own me. So I can control my feelings. You can say bad things to me. Things can go wrong, but I don't have to sit down and argue with you about something. I don't have to sit down and cry in a moment that I don't need to cry. I don't have to step outside of my peace because they don't own me. I own me. So that's a good mirror moment. They or you, whatever you need to tell yourself, don't own me.
Right. Or it.
It right? Don't own me because it's things that get our emotions.
That extra helping of ice cream or that craving that you have, that thing doesn't own you, right? You always need to be the one that's in control.
Yeah.
Did you have another affirmation?
No. You want one out of the book?
No, we can move on. We could talk about emotional health and some of the challenges that we know that people deal with as it relates to emotional health, and maybe some of the things that we've dealt with in our own lives briefly.
Yeah.
As it relates to emotional health, I know personally, and from observation, the big three that people deal with emotionally are depression, anxiety, stress, and I'll even throw worry in there, right? Which I think is mixed in, and you know, these are some of the challenges that we know can rock emotional health. I'm curious as to like what do we think are some of the triggers or things that lead up to depression, anxiety, not managing stress well.
I think
What do you think?
I was reading something about how when we talk about sleep, how sleep is, it can help with your emotional health. And I mean, come on, it all makes sense, right? Sleep and eating. As we know, sleep and eating controls a lot of things that goes on our bodies, and at the end, that controls our emotions. So I think that like when you are not getting, I know me for sure, when you're not getting enough sleep, your emotions can be all over the place, and you're just and you're just not dealing with things well, and that on top of that, that creates stress, which again, that controls your emotions. But I think sleep is number one. Like when I'm going through something and I'm just thinking about stuff that happened in the past, of like something happened and I'm really, really sad about it, or I'm really angry about it, and I want to call and like curse this person out and deal with it one way. And then something tells me to just go take a nap. Since I lived in California, naps have been a thing for me. And something tells me like, just go take a nap. And I wake up from that nap and none of that stuff matters anymore. Like none of it matters. I don't want to argue with that person. I don't want to call and express my feelings. It's like emotionally, I'm now balanced again. I'm back where I need to be, because I just needed some sleep. I just needed a nap. A nap can cure a lot of things.
So you're talking about the benefit of using sleep as an emotional regulator, and monitoring, right, the importance of sleep from the perspective of sleep, like sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you are not getting your rest, and now you have this conflict that you have to deal with because you are sleep deprived, you're going to be more easily irritated, right? So now you are irritable. And this is where Bianca says now you find yourself in this heightened irritable state. And if you even have enough presence of mind because you're sleep deprived now, remember, if you even have enough presence of mind to say to yourself, you know what, let me take a step away and try to use sleep as an emotional regulator and go take a nap and then come back and try to revisit this a little later. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that sleep can probably be lack of sleep can probably be the cause for a lot of emotional deregulation in our lives, or a lot of things that are going wrong, or triggers to depression, anxiety. But it can also be a cure. It can also be a cure, yes. Right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting, right? Because it can also be a cure and it can be a sign, right? I'm glad this is a topic that we're really paying attention to, because they say that a lot of folks who are dealing with depression often kind of lock themselves in and sleep a lot
too much.
Yeah.
Balance. Everything in life needs balance. You're not supposed to oversleep. You're not supposed to undersleep. I know when my body is off because I've overslept, because sometimes I take a couple naps a day. But balance is everything. You're not supposed to oversleep, and you shouldn't lack a good amount of sleep.
Right. It's almost like it's like we're prescribing sleep, right? But you don't want to OD on it.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to end up in a depressive state where you're using sleep as a scapegoat from reality either. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think sleep can be one of the things that is, of course it is, because it's related to the pillars, right? With the 5 pillars: physical health, and sleep is a core asset of physical health.
when you just mentioned people locking themselves in a room, like, so, stressed out, locking themselves in a room, wanting to do nothing but sleep, that made me think of another trigger, being distractions, or more so what you're listening to and who you're listening to. So I'm not going to go too much in detail of my mom's business, but she's in the mental health industry. And so I've uh, lived and dealt with people with mental illnesses since I was about 7 years old. And what we noticed were there were a lot of people who were just suffering from depression. Simple as that, just depression, right? And when you start to really try to understand instead of just prescribing, there's a difference. So when you start to really try to understand these people and their habits and their triggers, and you realize a lot of it comes from the surroundings and who and what they're listening to. So like nowadays we have everything on social media, a little bit of everything, and we're scrolling. And you either have people who are telling you so much really, really good information that you're just like overloaded and you can start to feel like, you've gotten nowhere in life because why don't I know this information? Why am I so behind on this information, right? Then you have people who are, oh, I'm just living this amazing, glamorous life. Oh my gosh, why can't I live that life? Why am I not living that life? You have a little bit of everything, and that it's like the things that you're listening to or who you're listening to and who you're surrounded by can put you in a depressed state because you're comparing yourself. And you might start overthinking. People get stressed out and depressed just from overthinking. And it could be the simplest thing. They can't just solve one problem and they're overthinking, and that causes stress and then leads into depression. But that made me think about that. Like it's people, yeah, who and what you're listening to
is another trigger. Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. It makes perfect sense, actually, as we talk about mental health and how mental health is the domino that, informs emotional health as well. And so what you're digesting, what you're allowing into your spirit and into your mind, it can and will manifest in some way, right? And a lot of what is on social media is either, you find some good stuff, but there's also a lot of bad stuff out there, right? And a lot of superficial things.
Yeah.
To Bianca's point, that may lead to
not even knowing what you're feeling at one point.
Right, like yeah.
I don't even know what I feel because this person telling me I should feel this. This person telling me I should feel this. I think I'm feeling this. And then you start to get emotionally imbalanced because you're like, I don't know what I'm feeling anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. It's important. It makes me think about in the background we have playing as an instrumental, and it's just music, right? It's just pleasant sounds. And I was talking to a gentleman recently about listening to more instrumentals, doing more like a sound therapy, but no words, right? Like I know that we're asking you all to listen to our words now, but in different periods in time in your life, especially when as it relates to regulating yourselves emotionally, it is good to spend your time with no words, right? Like having a peace of mind, allowing instrumentals and pleasant music and pleasant sounds to just enter your space. Or even, I remember we used to, I see my boy on here, we used to listen to a lot of instrumentals and beats and just hip hop beats, just it's a different zone and it's a different vibe for your mind, where you're allowed to be with your thoughts and not the influence of others, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you allow some time and space for that. So that's two big ones. And we're almost coming up on time. But emotional health, we know that we want to not get knocked off our square. We want to not be stuck in depression, anxiety, and worry. And we know that based on our conversation today, that two things we really want to pay attention to is sleep and how that impacts our health and our ability to respond to stressful situations, and also the things that we digest, right? The people that we're around, the information that we're allowing into our lives, and how those things can influence and impact our emotions.
And I got some tips from the book.
As we get ready to go, we're going to go over 1 or 2 tips and a couple quotes, and we'll be out. What you got?
First one is take a break. It's that simple. Just take a break. Take a break from yourself, or take a break from people, take a break from technology.
Absolutely.
Take a break for a minute. I'm holding myself like me because I'm like, yes, I feel this. But we love beach days. And it's like we just get to take a break from everything and just listen to the ocean and meditate and just be one with nature and God. Take a break. Another one from the book is write down what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're just marching through life and we don't know what the heck is working and what's not. And it's like, write it down, read it, think about it, envision it, and understand, okay, yep, that's not working for me. Let me remove that. And then you start writing down things that it's like, I don't need to worry about that. I really do not need to worry about that. And then the last one from the book, laughter is good for the soul. That will help you emotionally because you don't need to be out here sad. You don't need to be out here angry. You don't need to be out here cursing people out, although sometimes it's fun. But laughter is good for the soul. Laugh it off. Somebody say something you don't like, laugh it off. Something don't go wrong. Something goes wrong, laugh it off. Find something to laugh about. Like yesterday, I was in the gym dying. And I made up a little rap to what is it?
That was
it's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees. And I made up a little rap because I'm on a treadmill just dying. And I'm like, I gotta laugh this thing off. But everything, just find a way to laugh it off, man. Life is serious, but don't take it that serious.
Yeah, my tip for emotional health is to forgive yourself. Is a big one. I think that a lot of people are honestly just down in the dumps emotionally because they're beating themselves up, right? I think that a lot of people are their own toughest critics. And it's time to forgive yourself so that you can move on and you can accept your flaws or setbacks or disappointments and just move forward from today, right? We want to win the day. We want to win the morning. We want to just give ourselves a chance. And today's another chance, right? But if you don't forgive yourself and you're beating yourself up and you're not allowing yourself to move forward, then you won't, right? It's that simple. You are in control, as we talked about earlier, right? Be in control of your emotions. Don't let your emotions just happen to you. Recognize when they're happening and then, manage to gain control of them. Good morning. God bless. Y'all have a dope day. My quote of the day is stay focused and don't let anyone knock you off your square. That's my quote. Stay focused and don't let anyone knock you off your square. Peace and love. Holla at y'all tomorrow. We're going to talk about physical health and getting strong. All right. Peace.